All right, so hi everyone and welcome to the webinar. We're really excited you could join us today to talk through some exciting new IT ops solutions from ThoughtSpot and with our partners at Matillion and Pivot Analytics. So my name is Maggie O'Neill. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager at ThoughtSpot, and I'm joined today by Carrie Graham, Partner Solutions Architect at Matillion, as well as James Harper, Managing Director of Pivot Analytics. So before we get started, just a few quick tips. Due to multiple time zones, this webinar is recorded, but we are actively online here to answer your questions. So please drop them in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. So based on who we have joining us today, I certainly don't need to remind you that IT ops teams are increasingly under pressure to produce more for the business, especially as workplaces are increasingly going digital first for this foreseeable future. IT teams are seen more as strategic partners. So it's really no wonder you're seeing on your screen here, a recent survey of IT professionals showed that over 75% are really feeling the pressure to perform, along with traditional workloads like incident response or application management. Your teams are now being seen as an innovation engine for the entire business as well. And taking all of that on, it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources that just often don't exist. So today, we're really excited to have you here along with our partners, and we're going to uncover ways that you can accelerate your existing workflows, you can make them more efficient, and then free up more time and more resources for those more strategic projects. So you're probably using tools like ServiceNow and JIRA to manage some of your workloads. Don't get me wrong, these are phenomenal tools. We use them internally at ThoughtSpot. But when it comes to analytics in particular, and really uncovering those valuable insights that are going to help you manage your teams and your budgets more effectively, these tools, their analytics are stuck in the past. So they typically rely on canned reporting and static dashboards that just are not built to give you the answers that you need when you need them. And they're not going to provide the level of granularity that's needed to manage your entire IT ecosystem, which, as you probably know, can lead to things like repeat incidents, wasted resources, and overspend. You'll see here on the right-hand side of your screen, Sunny Betty. He's a customer of ours. He is also the CIO, CDO over at Snowflake. He was one of our first customers to start using ThoughtSpot on his ServiceNow analytics in particular. And he basically found if you're relying on these canned reports and canned dashboards, he found he was leaving a lot of money on the table. So if you're familiar with ThoughtSpot, you're probably familiar with how we solve this challenge for lots of different data sources and lots of different use cases. ThoughtSpot offers a live analytics platform that's going to allow anyone to ask natural language questions directly of their data and get results in seconds, all without knowing any SQL or anything about data models. So you just heard me say live analytics, and that really just means it's a live query in the cloud. So your data never needs to leave its cloud data platform, and it's going to be a fully interactive user experience. So we offer search. You search your data just like you would search your Google search bar, and then you get to drill anywhere into your data to get granular insights instantly. And because ThoughtSpot has a search-driven architecture on the back end, it's able to handle search and drill and granular insights over billions of rows of data really quickly. But today, we're here to talk specifically about IT ops. And so we're going to go deeper into two new solutions for IT ops professionals, specifically using ServiceNow and JIRA. So we call these SpotApps. And if you haven't heard about SpotApps yet, these are our next generation solution templates that come out of the box with everything that you need to get started with ThoughtSpot on a specific use case. So in this case, you'll see on the left-hand side of your screen, we have a ServiceNow SpotApp, particularly for incident management and problem management. As well as on the right-hand side of your screen, you're seeing our new JIRA SpotApp for agile and sprint management and support management. So these spot apps are going to allow you to get started with live analytics on your ServiceNow and your JIRA data within just a couple of minutes. And so with an accelerated setup process, you can save time and spend more time getting straight to what matters. I should also mention these are going to be fully customizable, so you're never going to be stuck with pre-canned reports or anything that's not particularly relevant to you. So spot apps, they're going to accelerate your speed to insights. They're going to make your team more efficient. And before we dive into the ServiceNow spot app and the JIRA spot app, I want to give a little bit of background on what makes up a spot app. They are composed of what we call ThoughtSpot blocks. You see on your screen here, answer blocks, live board blocks, and worksheet blocks are going to be the most common. Worksheet blocks, this is the lightweight data model that enables search on a specific use case in ThoughtSpot. Live board blocks are going to provide a high-level overview, including KPIs and charts of what's going on in a particular use case, but then they allow you to drill anywhere into the granular level details. And then answer blocks are going to be pre-built charts and answers specifically for popular questions on this use case. So all of these things are going to come out of the box for you. And they're all composed of pre-built, reusable pieces of TML code. So TML, for those who aren't familiar, stands for ThoughtSpot Modeling Language. It's a YAML language built using open standards. It will handle multi-fact tables with ease, and it's going to allow you to simplify your modeling layer. So without much further ado, I wanted to introduce our ServiceNow Incident Management Spot app. And this is going to be perfect for anybody from a help desk manager who's trying to get a better handle on the flow of incoming incidents, all the way up to the CIO who maybe wants to analyze IT operations in the context of the whole business needs. So this spot app is built on top of a subset of the native ServiceNow data model. So that means in order to get up and running, all you have to do is move your data as is from ServiceNow into your cloud data platform. And ThoughtSpot is cloud agnostic. So this means it can be Snowflake, Databricks, GBQ, Redshift, any of the popular data platforms, cloud data platforms. And then you just use ThoughtSpot Embrace to connect to the data, import the spot app, and you're ready to go. So you can see here in particular, this spot app is going to include mapping for 9 standard ServiceNow tables related to incident management, pre-built worksheets, pre-built answers and charts, and then live boards to track incident management and significant event management, also kind of known as problem management. And in particular, we are thrilled to be partnering with Matillion on this spot app. And we're partnering with Matillion to offer an end-to-end solution so that you can move your ServiceNow data into your cloud really easily while maintaining full visibility and control, and then deploy ThoughtSpot for live analytics on top of it. So to get you, or to tell you more about this shared job that we've created together, I'd like to introduce Carrie Graham from Matillion. So Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us, Maggie. So Matillion is an end-to-end data integration platform purpose-built for cloud data warehouses such as Snowflake. Matillion exists as a virtual machine located in the user's VPC, and rather than serving as an extra step from source to destination, Matillion compiles SQL based on the actions of the user and sends it to the appropriate place. So taking a look at the diagram, Matillion will make JDBC and API calls to the source system. You can imagine JIRA and ServiceNow as one of the applications on the left side. That data is streamed to a cloud location owned by the user, such as AWS S3, Azure Blob, or Google Cloud Storage, and copied into the destination table in Snowflake. Matillion also gives the user the full suite of transformations available in Snowflake. This includes user-defined functions or any native functions available in the Snowflake platform. If it can be called via SnowSQL, it can be used in Matillion. The main point is that all of the processing takes place in this destination cloud data warehouse, harnessing near unlimited processing capacity there. Once that data has been made useful, ThoughtSpot can be put to work to delve into its insights. Right. And taking a look at why to use Matillion, to put it simply, all the actions we just talked about do not require any coding skills on behalf of the Matillion developer. It is easy to use, requiring the user to drag and drop components on a graphical interface which, as we mentioned a little earlier, actually constructs a SQL based on the arguments input by the user. Matillion lives in the cloud, harnessing the services of cloud environments like AWS, Azure, and GCP, and is purpose-built for the cloud data warehouse being used as the engine for all the data engineering tasks. Matillion is also designed for the enterprise, offering such features as automated documentation, audit logging, and native Git promotion of development environments. To get any user up and running, Matillion also supports a very mature, wide-spanning community. We're about to release a brand new certification program through the Matillion Academy. There, the user can find hours of completely free instruction to build out their Matillion jobs using best practices. Developer relations, the Matillion ETL and MDL communities, ideas portal, all of these are sources of documentation inspired by the user community. But the one I'd really like to highlight down there near the bottom is the Matillion Exchange. What I'm about to demo is an example of a shared job. These are user community curated pieces of functionality, which have been released to the greater public on the Exchange. There, the user can find the best practices like incremental loads and lots more to help the user achieve a quicker time to value as opposed to learning Matillion from scratch. And now I'd like to go ahead and demo exactly what this incremental load for ServiceNow looks like. All right, so within a Matillion job, you can be able to use this icon that you see here called the ServiceNow incremental load, which is an example of a shared job. There, down below the user defined, they can be able to find any of these shared jobs uploaded from the Matillion Exchange. But really, the big idea here is that it houses very high scripting, high type of data engineering tasks in order to build out a much high-level process. In this case, we're performing an incremental load of data directly from ServiceNow. If we were to take a closer look at the what is contained in the shared job, you'll find lots of Python scripts that are constructing variables and then initiating other orchestration jobs, such as staging data, dropping the staged data, but eventually we are being led to the ServiceNow query connector. This is a dedicated connector found within Matillion that utilizes native authentication of ServiceNow to query data based on the parameters which were constructed in the first few steps. And through this, they can be able to utilize the quick start that has been enabled to then be able to make that data useful within ThoughtSpot. All right, back over to you, Maggie.
And then the next thing that I want to bring up here is what that is going to look like for the end user. So after all the data has successfully been moved from ServiceNow into the cloud using Matillion, ThoughtSpot SpotApp can get started on top of that in just a couple of seconds. So you see here on your screen just a few examples of the types of questions that are possible to answer quickly with our SpotApp. Things like, what types of incidents are posing the greatest challenge for our supports teams? Have there been spikes in particular areas? Are there opportunities to improve responsiveness? How agile are my teams when it comes to really urgent incidents? But let me change over my screen here and I will show you what this looks like. So IT Ops Analytics has traditionally been done using drag and drop static dashboards. But with ThoughtSpot, you have the ability now to drill into granular level details and take your IT organization from reactive to proactive. So the SpotApp implementation process will allow you to easily map your tables and your columns and download the TML package. On the back end, I'll give you a quick take a look at the worksheet block that is going to come out of the box for you. So you're getting an idea here of the column names that we're attaching to. This worksheet is really just sort of a lightweight semantic layer that faces your end user in ThoughtSpot, but it's also where you can add things like row level security and column level security. You can also view the joins and take a look at some of the data samples. But your end user isn't going to care about any of this, really. All they care about is that they can type into their search bar just like they would in Google and immediately start interacting with their data. So they can take a look at things like the count of incidents weekly across their organization. ThoughtSpot understands my question just as I type it and pulls up the answer, and it's fully flexible, so I can add additional things. Maybe I'll break it out by category here, and you can see that ThoughtSpot is also going to respond with a best fit visualization, but I have the full flexibility if I prefer a different one to come over here and change what that looks like. Now, if search, as I just showed you, is ThoughtSpot's first superpower, its second is the ability to drill down into granular level details. So let's drill down into the software spike here and get a better idea for maybe what groups are opening these incidents. So let's see. Open by groups. And I should mention, there are no predefined drill paths in ThoughtSpot. It's fully search underneath the hood, so you can search and drill from anywhere. In this case, you see in just a couple clicks, I've got a great idea now that the sales teams were having trouble with their software during this specific date range. So let's take a look and see what subcategory of issues they were having so we can follow up. And you can see they were having CRM issues, and I can get all the way down to who opened these issues, switch over into chart view for a second, continue adding things in the search bar like their phone number or their manager's name, anything that I need to get right into the actionable details. So you just saw search and drill. I gave you a peek at the worksheet, but then the next thing I want to show here are the live boards that come out of the box with the ThoughtSpot for ServiceNow Incident Management Spot app. So you can see here live boards are pre-built for incident management, overview, and performance, as well as significant event examination. You can also call this problem examination. But let's take a look at the incident management overview live board. You'll see here it's a great place to just keep an eye on KPIs or charts that are relevant to this use case. It may look sneakily familiar like a dashboard, but what makes ThoughtSpot live boards different is that you can drill anywhere. You can ask questions directly from the dashboard without having to go back to its developers. So here I could drill down and do that right in the live board. And then they all have the explore feature. So this is actually a chart that we custom made, as you can customize any spot app, taking a look at the count of incidents assigned by teams as I transfer responsibility from a US team over to an India team. And you can see here, ThoughtSpot's explore feature is going to use kind of like a lightweight AI technology to give me suggestions on how I may want to interact with this data based on my past performance, that of other people in my team or group, or what makes sense based on the data model. So in this case, it may say, hey, you might want to take a look at, instead of the count of incidents, maybe incident duration to make sure performance is trending well. Take a look at it on a weekly basis. And it makes it really easy to do for anybody to get any answers of their data. So that's just one example of what's possible with ThoughtSpot for ServiceNow Spot app. I'm going to switch back over here to my other screen, and then we'll take a look at how this works with our JIRA Spot app as well. Give me just one second here. So another thing that sets ThoughtSpot apart from traditional BI tools is how easily our search-based architecture handles multi-fact tables. So this means you can bring in data from multiple sources into one searchable view. James is about to show you our JIRA Spot app, and this can be used entirely on its own, or you could also bring JIRA data in alongside your ServiceNow data and allow your users to explore both in one singular view. This is something that our customers over in the UK at Nationwide Building Society have been doing for a few years. But without further delay, I'd love to bring in James Harper of Pivot Analytics, who's going to walk us through the JIRA Spot app for Agile project and issue management. So James, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Australia.
Thanks for having me, Maggie. As Maggie mentioned, Pivot Analytics are a partner of ThoughtSpot. And we've been a partner for coming up to 3 years now. I think the thing that we've really enjoyed is working with our clients. They're really passionate and driven people. And the reason that they enjoy working with ThoughtSpot is that it makes it really easy for them to get in, to use data, and to really make it part of their everyday decision-making process. And as a bit of a data nut, that's something I really enjoy. So today I'm going to talk to you about the JIRA Spot app, which we have been developing with some of our clients here. So JIRA, it's a massive platform, and it is used not just across IT, but it's used often as an agile management tool across many different industries. And it's highly configurable, right, to be able to suit many different purposes. So like Maggie sort of touched on, one of the ways that we have seen it used quite a lot is in partnership with your incident management platform. So that might be ServiceNow, or it could be JIRA Service Manager, or Zendesk, or there's a million other incident management platforms as well. And in that sort of setup, what we see is you have issues that are created by your customers, and some of those are going to require software development to resolve. So it's sort of at that point where you see that issue being pushed across into JIRA, where the development team will pick it up, create the story, and then use sprints to deliver that work. So anyone who's worked with JIRA regularly, you'd know that the main interface is really the board, which contains all of your issues and stories, and the board is perfect, right, to move those stories through the sprint process. What it does make slightly more difficult is getting that high-level view of what's happening, and that's particularly true when you want to see what's happening across multiple sprints or across multiple teams. And that's, I guess, where the JIRA Spot app really sort of comes into its own. So like Maggie mentioned, we've got the ability to look at both sort of sides of things. We can look at our incident management data, and we can also look at our sprint management data. But let's talk in more action. Let's jump in and have a look at the demo. So what we've got is, first of all, we've got the ability to look and ad hoc query or ad hoc search our data. So the first thing we're going to want to know is how many incomplete issues that we've got. So straight away, typing into the search bar, I can see the total number of incomplete issues across all of my data. And I want to see that, of course, by project. So which are the projects that are having a large number of open issues. So you can see that we've got a bit of a backlog forming here with this project. And just like Maggie showed us before, we can drill down into this. So if we want to see the types of issues that are being created, we can drill in here by issue type. And we can see, we've got a small number of bugs, we've got a large number of subtasks, but the stories is what I'm sort of most interested in. So I can, again, continue to drill in here. So if I want to understand, is my workload being nicely shared across my team, which, we can see straight away in a few clicks that we've got a bit of a large number of tickets here being allocated to one individual. So in a few clicks, I'm able to jump in and understand that, possibly I've got the ability here to reallocate some of this work and possibly improve the speed at which we can get these issues closed. Also included with the JIRA Spot app are two separate live boards. The first one is around issue management, and the second one is around the sprint management. So this whole live board is really designed to help, I guess, track and improve the agile process. So you have sort of high-level metrics in terms of velocities. We can see different charts that give us insights on the number of issues that our team are planning versus actually delivering within sprints. We've got, a burn down chart, which, a burn down chart, everybody knows, is theoretically supposed to start at the top right and have a nice linear track down to 0 issues left at the end of a sprint. Unfortunately, what often happens is that you end up with burn down charts that look like this, where we're jumping up and down. And these straight away indicate process issues, right? So we can use these visualizations to be able to make changes and tweaks to our process that our teams are using, and then come back to them and see how they're performing over time. One of the other, more, I guess, common process issues that we've often seen is Agile is a very structured process. And so we should only be bringing stories into a sprint when they're fully defined and the team understands exactly what's expected of them. This visualization here, it tracks how many issues within each sprint we're actually changing the description of mid-sprint. So this is indicating that we've got a process issue. So I could use this, I could go back to my team, we could work together about how to define a story before it's brought into a sprint, and then we can come back to this visualization and track how that's changing over time. And so we have a number of visualizations here that are tracking those sort of process issues that we can often experience with our agile teams. So with the JIRA Spot app, it's very quick to perform our own ad hoc searches with that ability to drill anywhere. And then with the 2 live boards, we've got the ability to investigate what's happening across both our incident management and also our agile process data. Back to you, Meg.
So much, James. That was awesome. Great demo. So we're reaching the end of our time together. Wanted to thank everyone who joined us today for taking about 30 minutes out of your busy day to join us. We hope you found it informative. If you'd like to learn more about ThoughtSpot for ServiceNow or about any of our Spot apps, including the JIRA Spot app, I'm linking the 2 web pages on our screen here. On the ServiceNow webpage in particular, you can take a look at a case study from Sunny Betty over at Snowflake, talking about how he hit 99% of his IT commit goals with ThoughtSpot for ServiceNow Analytics. So that's something to check out. And we also offer a free ServiceNow specific 30-day free trial on incident management data on that webpage. So be sure to check it out. If you would prefer a more traditional ThoughtSpot free trial experience, we encourage you to visit thoughtspot.com/trial. Here, you'll be able to connect to your favorite cloud data warehouse in minutes and then use ThoughtSpot for free for 30 days. If you're a current customer who's joining us and you haven't already joined our community, certainly encourage you to join our online ThoughtSpot community. This is a place for you to ask questions, share best practices, connect with other users, access frequent announcements, and just generally expand your knowledge of ThoughtSpot through different events and programs. So for this, please go to community.thoughtspot.com and click the sign up button on the top menu to join the community. We hope to see you there. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you at future webinars.